Everyone knows ancient humans died at 30. The problem is, that sentence is technically true in the most misleading way possible. Because when you hear died at 30, your brain does not picture a statistic. It pictures a 29-year-old cave accountant coughing once, pointing at a birthday calendar and whispering, "It has been an honor." But 30 was not a biological kill switch. It was usually a life expectancy at birth number. And life expectancy at birth is not asking how old was the normal adult when they died. It is asking if a baby is born into this whole mortality system and we average the ages at death of everyone, what number comes out? That sounds similar. It is not. Here is the trick. Imagine two people. One dies at age 1. One dies at age 70. The average age at death is 35 and a half. That does not mean both of them had a mysterious meeting at 35 and a half and politely expired. It means the average got dragged downward by an early death. Mathematically legal, narratively terrible. Now scale that up to a world without antibiotics, vaccines, modern sanitation, safe childbirth, reliable food storage, emergency surgery, or a helpful pharmacist asking if you have tried not getting an infection. In many ancient and non-industrial settings, childhood was the dangerous tunnel. Newborns and young children faced infection, injury, hunger, exposure, and all the tiny disasters that modern people forget because someone put them behind hospital doors, water treatment, and boring safety standards. So if a lot of deaths happen early, the average from birth collapses. Not because every adult is old at 30, because the average includes the children who never got to become adults. One major cross-cultural study of hunter-gatherer groups found that about 57% of children survived to age 15. Important caveat: modern hunter-gatherers are not a perfect time machine to the Stone Age. They have their own histories, environments, and contact with other societies. But they are one of the better lenses we have for understanding non-industrial mortality patterns. And that lens shows the same basic trap. Life expectancy at birth is being pulled hard by early life.
Now watch what happens after the childhood gate.
In the same kind of data, if a traditional hunter-gatherer reached age 15, about 64% reached age 45. That is a very different picture from everyone died at 30. Age 30 was not a cliff edge. It was often just adulthood, with fewer teeth than ideal, more scar tissue than ideal, and absolutely no ergonomic office chair. But still adulthood. The adult death pattern is also not what the myth suggests. In hunter-gatherer and subsistence population studies, life expectancy at birth can sit around 30, while the most common adult age at death can be around 7 decades. That sentence feels fake the first time you hear it. It is not fake. It is what happens when one statistic is about newborns entering a risky world, and another statistic is about adults who already survived the worst early hazards. So the real correction is not ancient people secretly lived exactly like modern retirees. Please do not imagine a Stone Age golf community. Ancient life was dangerous. Infection could kill you. A bad wound could kill you. Childbirth could kill you. Violence, accidents, famine, and parasites were not minor customer service issues. Modern life expectancy improved because humans got better at keeping babies alive, yes, but also because we got better at keeping children, adults, pregnant people, injured people, and older people alive. So do not replace one myth with another. The point is narrower and more interesting. A low life expectancy at birth does not mean the average adult was elderly at 30.
And this matters because older adults were not statistical ghosts. If enough people reached later adulthood, they could matter to the group in very practical ways. An older person could remember which plant is food and which plant is a spicy invitation to regret. They could know where water usually appears after a dry season. They could watch children, process tough foods, repair tools, teach skills, remember kinship, and tell younger adults, with the confidence of experience, "No, last time we touched that animal, it went badly." This is where the grandmother hypothesis often enters the story. The idea is that post-reproductive women, by helping feed and care for grandchildren, may have improved their daughter's reproductive success and shaped human life history. That hypothesis is useful, but it is not a magic key that opens every door. Human longevity probably involved many pressures: cooperation, food sharing, learning, social bonds, ecological risk, and the weird human talent for turning memory into survival equipment. But the basic point holds. If older adults were present enough to teach, help, remember, and annoy everyone with useful warnings, then the world was not just infants and 29-year-old elders sprinting toward dust. It had age structure. It had children, teenagers, adults, older adults, and people whose job was apparently to survive long enough to say, "I told you that mushroom was suspicious." There is one more honest caveat. The past did not leave us a neat spreadsheet. Archaeologists can study skeletons, cemeteries, teeth, bones, settlement patterns, and comparison populations. But estimating exact ages at death from skeletons gets harder in older adulthood. A bone does not come with a tiny warranty card that says expired at 62. So when anyone gives you a single clean number for ancient humans, be suspicious. Not because numbers are useless, because numbers answer specific questions. Life expectancy at birth answers one question. How long could adults live if they survived childhood answers another. What age was most common among adult deaths answers another. And would I personally have survived a prehistoric Tuesday answers a fourth question, which, frankly, depends on how confidently you would eat an unknown berry. So why do we keep repeating the 30-year myth? Because humans love compressing messy distributions into one clean story. Give us a number, and we will immediately turn it into a character. The average becomes a grim reaper. The chart becomes a prophecy. The statistic puts on a tiny cloak and starts pointing at birthdays. But the real story is stranger. Ancient life was brutally risky at the beginning. That pulled the average down. Surviving childhood changed the odds. Adults could live for decades. Older adults could matter. And the number 30 was not a death sentence. It was a warning label on how averages work. So the next time someone says, ancient humans died at 30, you can quietly ask, average from birth or average for adults? Then watch the statistic remove its spooky costume. Your ancestors were not all collapsing at their 30th birthday party. They were living inside a dangerous world where childhood was the narrow gate. Adulthood was not guaranteed, and old age was rare enough to matter, but real enough to leave fingerprints on human life. Stay oddly human, and check the denominator.